All right, welcome back to the channel. So, in some bad news, Adrien Broner has been hospitalized for something related to alcohol abuse, and he asked the fans for help. But of course, the boxing media use it as a way to run the man down. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. And before I get into the subject matter of the video, please make sure that you hit the subscribe button, that you share the video, and that you like the video. It goes a long way to growing the channel, and it would be much appreciated if you did. So let's get into this. This is an unpleasant subject for me. Adrien Broner, Adrien the Problem Broner, is a multiple division champion. He's a guy that I think is a true warrior in the sport and somebody that is really, really good for the sport of boxing. He has been hospitalized. He put up footage on Instagram from the hospital, and he basically talked about, alcohol, and please make sure all of the friends, not to ask him to drink, because if they ask, he's going to do that. So that's pretty much, I would say a tacit, it's the word I was looking for, a tacit admission that he may be suffering from alcoholism. Now, Adrien Broner is somebody that I think is very, very, very good for the sport of boxing, but unfortunately, over the last several years, he has been living up to his name, Adrien the Problem Broner, because he's constantly having problems pop up in between his fights. For example, not too long ago, maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, he got arrested for inappropriately touching a girl, and the girl sued him, and I think he had to pay something like $800,000 to her, right? That type of instant. He also had, not too long before that, he pulled his car over. He got arrested because there was a bunch of bullet holes in his car. Some people are saying that he shot his own car up for publicity. I can't speak on that. If he got his car shot up, hey man, he got his car shot up. I know that Floyd Mayweather Jr. was in Atlanta and he got his car shot up. It's just kind of, people are out there, in the streets, and people got guns in the streets. They tend to, find a way to use them. So just kind of example, and now you have, and I'm sure there are other issues as well that kind of put people sideways, but this one right here is something I think is very serious and something that should not be made light of, because it's something that so many people suffer from, and that is alcohol abuse. And so my prayers go out to the guy. But I want to say that even with all of the accident and all of the different things that have happened with Adrien Broner, to me, his professional boxing career has been a big plus for me, because he's one of these guys. Like I said, Adrien Broner is a warrior, and he's somebody that is going to go out there and fight. He's going to give the fight the best fight he can give. He's always given competitive fights. There's no one that I've seen fight Adrien Broner that has just blown out Adrien Broner, but he does things that these other group of people are not doing, that Gervonta Tank Davis is not doing, Devin Haney is not doing, Terrence Crawford surefire ain't doing, and that is fighting tough competition and getting into fights where there's a significant chance that you're going to lose. For example, Adrien Broner fought Manny Pacquiao. He didn't complain about fighting Manny. He complained and thought he won the fight, which a lot of people kind of pshawed that he won the fight. I think obviously that Manny Pacquiao won the fight, but he took that fight. He took the fight with Sean Porter. He took the fight with Marcus Maidana. He took the fight with Mikey Garcia. All of these fights were fights where, because he was coming off of losses, I think, he got a draw against Adrian Granados. The only guy that he has fought, though, that you could be like, man, this is going to be an easy win for Adrien Broner, the only one that he's fought like that was Ashley Theophane. But you compare that to somebody like Terrence Crawford, and you'll see what I mean. Terrence Crawford, from my understanding, is about to fight Zepeda, right? With the exception of Ashley Theophane, there isn't anybody that you can name that Adrien Broner has fought in the last 4 years or 5 years that is that lower level of fighter. Same thing you could say about Jeff Hearn. The only person that you can maybe say that about on nobody you can say on that is on the level of a Jeff Hearn. Nobody was as washed up and as easy a fight as Amir Khan. Nobody that he fought was as washed up and as easy a fight as Kell Brook. Adrien Broner is fighting guys that are tough fights and most certainly needs to be celebrated. Needs to be celebrated for doing that. And then you look at guys like Gervonta Tank Davis. Now, I want to be clear with this. I am not saying that these other fighters necessarily are the ones choosing to do this. However, Gervonta Tank Davis, right, who was with Mayweather Promotions, Floyd Mayweather Jr. said that he was not going to be having he's going to have all in-house fights. If that is true, Gervonta Tank Davis will not fight anybody of any note in 130, 135, or 140. Literally, he would have to either go down to 122 pounds or 126 pounds and catch Gary Russell Jr., go down to 122 pounds and catch Guillermo Rigondeaux, or move up to 147 pounds and fight somebody like a Sean Porter or some guys like that are clearly too big for Gervonta Tank Davis. And that is in the plan to make Gervonta Davis be a big, well, Gervonta Davis is a star in his own right, and he's a personality on his own right, and he really does follow like the Adrian Broner blueprint to a good extent, in the fact that he's always in some drama, and he's also always out in the community at games being seen and marketing himself. But you see the difference. So for me, first of all, as far as Adrien Broner and the alcohol issues, that's not something that should ever be ridiculed, because that's something that millions and millions and millions of people deal with. You have alcohol pretty much on every corner, and it's very hard to go into any town and not find 3 places where you can go get all the alcohol you need for whatever whatever level of intoxication you want to get. You have it always pushed. It's at the boxing matches. It's very, very tough for people to avoid that if they have a dependency issue. So I'm seriously wishing for the best for Adrien Broner, but I do want to point out that when I heard this and I read the article where they talked about it, all they talked about was, despite Adrien Broner, appealing for help, he have to look like he's just, the tone of it was that he's just this guy that needs to be pitied, and how, and what a waste of life he is. I say that he's not somebody that needs to be pitied. He's somebody that needs to be respected, because number one, he's telling you what his issue is. He's not somebody that is hiding out there and not letting people know what his weaknesses are, knowing what his mistakes are, knowing what his challenges are. And that gives other people around him an opportunity to say, oh man, I can relate to that in my life. And it may actually give them courage to get over the problems that they have. But so, all in all, I really feel for Adrien Broner, and I certainly hope, even more than boxing, that he gets, whatever the issues are that he has, that he gets those worked out. But I think by making that admission and talking about it on Instagram, I think that's a positive step, and something that people, if they pay attention and they watch the life of Adrien Broner, in the boxing ring, I think his career is outstanding. Now, he didn't get all the wins, but he definitely got all the fights, and he took those fights seriously. And he performed in those fights, and he never ducked anybody. He doesn't fight, I'm not going to say journeyman, but yeah, he doesn't fight journeymen. He fights guys that are legitimately difficult fights, and that should be praised. So a man on one level that will tell you what his issues are, and on the other hand, when he goes to work, and he takes on the toughest competition. All I can say is get well, brother. I hope that you are doing well and get better soon. And with that, remember, please, though, share the video, like the video, and subscribe to the channel if you've not already subscribed. And with that, I'm out. Peace.